started so we can get busy. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. Welcome. This is our third night broadcasting live from Facebook. We're having a really good time with this. Tonight, we're excited because we actually have a guest joining us today, Tina Kraft with Fringe Benefits. But first, I want to introduce myself and Jacqueline for those of you that don't know who we are. I'm Angela Highland. With me is Jacqueline Boykin. We work with Call to Action Coaching and Consulting. We help businesses and their teams and the leadership. We develop leaders and their teams, and we also do a lot of coaching with professional women. So we thought it would be great. This started as a conversation to just help the community check in, see how each other's doing in this crazy time. We're all on the fly. We don't know what's coming from one day to the next. So we thought it good to just try to find a way to stay connected.
Well, there's one person that knows what's going on, right? And she's with us tonight. So hi, Tina Kraft.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
We're doing great. I want to introduce you, if I may, give people a few tips about you. Tina Kraft is the Vice President at Fringe Benefit Plans. They are a comprehensive financial services firm specializing in employee benefit programs and executive benefits. Their scope of services is focused on consultation, financial strategy, compliance, technology, and wellness. Tina is active in our community as a board member for iBuild Central Florida, a development committee member for the United Arts, and has been a part of the membership for the NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction, Greater Orlando chapter. Tina has a Bachelor of Science in Sociology from the University of Central Florida and is a licensed life and health agent. Tina contributes 20 years of employee benefits experience focused on innovative strategy and solutions that help employers achieve financial and human capital goals and objectives. She is married and a mom of 2 twin boys. Thank you again, Tina, for joining us. I'm looking forward to get some updates from you today. You have been amazing at keeping your network updated with emails and communications, all under the realm of what you do. Since this started, you have been on the front line.
Thank you. It's a great opportunity to serve our community employers. And right now there's so much unknown that communication is key at this time.
Yes, so this is our third evening. Like I said, we have covered tips for small business, ideas on how to drive cash flow, as well as sales and retention stuff. Tonight, we wanted to focus on your area expertise with health and policy. So as we go through, we've got a few questions that we've come up with for Tina. If anybody listening in or watching us, if you've got any questions at all, please put it in the chat box. We're going to be monitoring that, and in between question and answer between Tina and myself, we will address your calls or your questions as well. Sound good? All right, Tina, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So my first question for you, since you are so active in the community all of the time, you seem to have your finger on the pulse. What are you hearing out there that is the biggest concern right now?
So there are so many different concerns, but what we're finding to be the 2 largest ones are that eligibility concerns with reduction in hours. So a lot of the employers are reducing hours in order to save on payroll. And with that being said, they're not sure whether their folks can stay covered under the employee benefits program. What we do know is that as long as you maintain the premiums for your employees, coverage will remain active. And what we are recommending is business as usual to maintain employees with their coverage, because we want everybody right now to have access to care. it's a really important time for somebody to be able to triage their care and not go directly to the emergency room, because they are asking that we not do that. We don't want to unnecessarily expose our medical professionals.
Jacqueline, do
Catherine?
you have a question?
No, I was just going to say that's, I had not even thought about that, but of course that's a concern, and what great information for businesses and employees to understand how it's working. That's great.
Well, and you know, the other thing right now too is that every employer has uninsureds. So not every single employee takes the coverage. And although some employees take the coverage, they may not be able to afford to have all of their dependents.
No, I was just going to say that's, I had not even thought about that, but of course that's a.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of an echo on my end. I apologize about that. So what do you think is the top of people's mind? I know that every day we hear more and more about people being sent home and being told to work from home. You know, how is your industry being impacted in this way as it pertains to benefits and solutions?
Well, right now we are definitely in service mode, guys. So we are fielding a lot of questions because none of us have been through this before. This scenario is very new. So we need to be engaged, and we need to be, as you said, Angela, on the front line communicating. So we have many employer and employee questions coming in. And clearly any business, their number one asset are their humans. So this has an impact on people. And so we have some employees that have medical coverage, and we have others that are uninsured. We have some employees that have medical coverage, but their dependents are uninsured. So knowing what the numbers are doing and the exposure to the coronavirus right now, everybody is very fearful. So top of mind for the employer is the financial aspect, right? Business is being impacted regardless of what your business model is. So they are looking at the financial aspect of offering insurance while caring for their employees. Top of mind for the employees is access to care, with fear of not knowing whether they or their family will be diagnosed with the coronavirus. And right now, whether you're an employer or an employee, everybody's mental health is definitely being challenged with the additional fears and anxieties of the unknown. So right now, EAPs, employee assistance programs, are definitely very important to share with your employees if you offer that benefit, to support everybody from a mental standpoint. Financial wellness is also very important. Everybody sees in the news what's going on with the market, and you know, the market represents our retirement benefits. So fear of losing jobs, fear of losing your benefits, whether you're going to have access to medical care during this time when everybody's at risk, and then how are we going to retire, and what is the market going to do? So that is top of mind right now. A lot more questions than answers. So the more we can support and communicate, the better we can just make sure that we all get through this together.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's a lot of the reason why Jacqueline and I wanted to do this. And as it's played out over the past couple of days, we wanted to get people that had insights such as yourself, because people are looking for any information that they can get. And every little bit helps, right?
Every little bit helps. And we have been, you know, reminding everybody on, you know, regardless of who their insurance carrier is with, you know, is telemedicine included in their program? Because telemedicine right now is an excellent way to access care. You know, and even if you don't have coronavirus symptoms, you may not want to go to your doctor right now live, because there could be, you know, another patient in there. So it's just a high risk time. So we also rolled out a program Friday night through telemedicine to help people on a short-term basis get access to telemedicine, so that if they need the advice of a doctor or a prescription, they have the ability to get that care. So to your point, Angela, we're being very innovative to create solutions that 2 weeks ago, we didn't really even know that we needed.
Right. So what would your advice be to those employees and employers with uninsured family members or dependents? What do they need to understand right now?
So what we want them to understand is that if they're looking for a solution, they can do that with, for example, the Teledoc program. They can do it on a short-term basis, 4 to 6 months at $6.25 per employee per month, and that covers the employee and all of their dependents in their household. If they are not looking for that kind of a solution, then what we really want to educate on right now is that they need to go through their county health department if they don't have a general doctor or access to telemedicine. We do not want uninsureds or anybody for that matter going directly to the emergency room and potentially exposing our medical professionals. What we do know is that all of our medical professionals are going to be needed as these numbers climb. So if they get exposed and contaminated, then we have less medical professionals to care for everybody.
Yeah, indeed. That's the worry, you know, that's the whole flatten the curve idea is that we slow it down so that we can cope with the load.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I had a friend of mine post today. She's a nurse. She said, I'm a nurse. I can't work from home. And, the term that we hear in construction all the time, PPE, and now everybody is hearing it for the medical world, to Tina's point, to, stop the spread.
Right.
Yeah, very important.
I heard today that some of the job sites in construction have started taking temperatures on the sites in order for them to be able to work. Have you guys heard that feedback?
Yes, I have. And many people are going about that right now. For people that are having to show up, they're checking their temperature because it's the only way they have to monitor it. So, so today there was some news on the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Can you give us an update about that?
Sure. So very exciting. We've been waiting since Monday for Senate to approve the Families First Coronavirus Response Act update. I think everybody's been watching this closely. So it just came through about an hour ago, within the last hour or two. And now we're just waiting for the president to sign it for it to become a law. So this is going to be very helpful for our employers. Right now, they're defining that as companies with fewer than 500 employees, but that is definitely going to help with emergency paid sick leave, with emergency family medical leave, and some other provisions as it pertains to unemployment compensation, the coronavirus testing to be provided at no charge. So hopefully the employers will feel some positive news in seeing that there could be a refundable tax credit for employers that provide this paid sick leave. Wow. And to help them take care of their teams.
Very good. I know everybody's just on edge. We've never been here before, so there's all kinds of questions on everybody's mind. You've provided so much information over the past week that I've seen come through just in my email. And one of the things that you provided was a home guide that was filled with tips like how to set up a designated area, working with your communications. What other kind of tips do you have on how things are going for you right now personally? You're working from home?
So I am working from home. However, I have been a remote employee for the last 20 years. So I'm very accustomed to that. I think that the bigger challenge, if you're an employer as well as an employee today, is that we have so many employees that have never experienced what it is to be a remote employee. And we have so many employers that haven't offered it. So you have a lot of best practices coming together in a very quick manner. So Angela, to your point, the work from home guideline was to try to equip employers with some tools to launch that, not knowing what Monday, Tuesday, or today was going to bring.
Yeah, Jacqueline and I have been working from home. So for us, it was an easier transition, but I have a friend that's in IT and he has been slammed the past few days running from business to business, trying to get people set up remotely. His business is booming, fortunately for him, but it's a big need out there. People aren't sure how to get set up from home. They're struggling with, having kids home, not only for spring break, but in the Central Florida area, they're looking at having them home for a whole other month. So it's just created a lot of challenges. I was looking at some best practices today that we're talking about, practicing social distancing. Now we've got another new word called sheltering in place. Uh, we're getting some really cool terms out of this. How to leverage your tech if you do have to work at home, and if you are a small business person, how you can do that. Jacqueline and I are trying to get creative on that as well.
I'm sorry, Angela. Addis had a question.
Yes.
She wants to know, can employers right now, Tina, reach out and purchase a plan that would cover their employees? Or is there any kind of waiting period or holding period if it's new for them to make that investment?
No, so there is no pre-existing in the medical field. So if they wanted to secure coverage for their employees in a traditional manner for insurance, then they can absolutely do that. And based upon the date right now, it would be probably an April 1st go live date in order to push that quickly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I saw it come up in the chat. Addis was asking a little bit more about Tina, and it looks like, Jacqueline, that you answered her. But Tina, if you want to tell a little bit from your words what you do and how you help the business community.
Absolutely. So hi, Addis. At Fringe Benefit Plans, we are 50 years in the community and we are specialized in the world of employee benefits. So we partner with employer groups to help leverage an employee benefit program to support their recruiting and their retention goals. So as we know, it is definitely a number one in all human resources focuses to recruit good talent, and then we want to retain them because the cost of turnover is never a positive for the business model. So we are focused on the placement of insurance. We work as a part-time employee for the employer to manage the plan as well as the compliance, the communication, and we use technology that is complementary to support that, not only for the employer experience, but for the employee experience. And then we educate along the way for both the employer and the employee. We navigate because the navigation can be pretty complex with our healthcare system. And we advocate because there's definitely some imperfection in the medical and the insurance world. So we make sure that resolution is always top of mind from a contract standpoint. So we are very, very committed to the employers in our community, and we are very focused on the trades with manufacturing and construction because you have a lot of employees that you're trying to recruit, and unemployment has not been at an all-time. It's not been like this in the world of construction in a long time. So that is why you will see us very much at NAWIC and IBIL and the Manufacturing Association of Central Florida, because those employers have definitely needed our assistance over the last 5 years.
Yeah, even leading up into this, you're right. Construction was booming. Jacqueline and I both have background in construction, and as you know, and our niche has really been trying to help with that retention from a training perspective. We've been trying to get in with companies, help them make sure they're hiring the right people and that they're onboarded correctly, and how they fit in a team, and how does the leadership manage that team. So we understand where you're at. It's a need when you have an industry that's doing as well as it is and has such a huge workforce. and is so varied. You know, people from office out into the field. It is. They have a lot of need. They really do. They have a lot of need. So, any questions from the Facebook gallery, Jacqueline?
Yes, this just in. Vanessa is asking, are your services tax deductible to employers, Tina?
Hey, Vanessa. So that is a really, really good question. So the employers themselves don't pay us. We are complimentary to the employer. We are actually compensated when we place insurance by the insurance companies. So Vanessa, once an employer makes the determination to offer an employee benefits program, that would be a write-off for the company, on top of the fact that they're not paying for our services. Our scope of services are cost neutral to the employer.
Oh, very interesting.
That's a great question. Yeah,
Yeah.
new thought in my brain. Yeah, that's great.
Very good by our guest for tomorrow night. So let's see. Next question. Oh, here you go. So Tina, what should employers be thinking about that maybe they want their employees to understand from their perspective about why they're having people work from home, especially if they've never done it before? This can be a pretty big challenge, I would imagine, because I would think that the employees would get angry with the employers. Well, what, you're sending me home and that's it for me? How does the employer help ease that message to the employee?
That's a great question, because you have, again, in the world of human capital, you're going to have some employees that are upset that they're being sent to be virtual, but you're going to have others who expect to be virtual because of everything that they're watching on the news. So how do you have any processes that make everybody happy, right? So communication clear, a work from home guideline. If you are sending them home, be very, very clear with the fact that you are still the employer, you are still setting the guidelines, you are providing the policies, you're providing the security, right? Back to your IT, Angela, from before. You know, if you are sending people home, it does need to be structured appropriately with today's cybersecurity issues. You also need to make sure that there's clear communication on the expectations for them to perform. They're not being sent home to watch the news all day or to, have friends over. There's still a business need. It's just going to take place in a different setting. So clear communication from the employer. You also want to have close daily contact. Again, most of these employees have never been virtual before, and not everybody is made to be virtual. So these scenarios have forced a lot of people into this position. So close daily contact with the remote employees to serve, staying connected, because a lot of employees need that connection, right? We're humans. Also, that connection helps them to stay on task from an accountability standpoint. And you're also inadvertently supporting them as a team member and keeping the cohesion still there by making sure that the contact is there. Again, clear communication on responsibility and accountability. A couple days ago, we thought that this would be during spring break, and now it has very quickly moved into mid-August or mid-April.
Right.
So clear communication on responsibility and accountability. We have a lot of people that need to be served, regardless of your business model. And I would always recommend using the carrot approach, that if this works well, then in the future, it may afford us the opportunity as a business to offer some more flexibility with work remote privileges. But this is going to be a really good trial run for many companies to see who does it well and who doesn't.
Yeah, that's really great input. Angela and I were talking earlier today about how a lot of the things that now managers and organizations are sort of forced to do with being clear in what an expectation is. that it really everybody should be doing every day now is really mission critical. Now, Tina, I had a question for you, and I don't know if this is in your bailiwick. I know you know a lot, but I'm not sure if this is something that you can offer any input in. Do you have any knowledge or background in the workman's compensation part of insuring a company?
So that is not my license and that's not my area of
Got it.
expertise. However, I did reach out to another community leader who is very specialized in work comp because I wanted to find out what kind of questions he was receiving. And what I learned through that conversation is that work comp is really coming more into play if you're a medical facility because there is a need because of your job to be exposed. But I would always recommend that you reach out to who you work with on your work comp to figure out what is included in the contract, if any, as well as the employer's liability insurance. So
Okay, that's great.
And what we are finding is that the business interruption is not kicking in if in fact you have that because the building is fine, right?
Oh, right.
So I would
Right.
definitely call your commercial partner to look at your work comp, to look at your employer liability, and to look and see if you do have business interruption to see what, if any, benefits are available.
Okay, great. Vanessa has another question, which is, what are the top benefits, Tina, that you think help with the retention of staff?
So based upon what we find, regardless of what generation the employee is in, because we have Z, we have the millennials, we have, the boomers, what we find is that all the feedback is that medical is first and foremost, right? So everybody wants to have access to medical and prescription care. And then you still have that dental is very appreciated because dental work can be very expensive. Vision, if we wear glasses, we know how much vision and glasses can cost.
Mm-hmm.
Life insurance is typically provided by the employer. Some employers still provide disability, which is paycheck protection in the event that you're not able to work due to sickness or accident. But the other one that is a very, very big benefit is retirement, right? Because we all want to work and hopefully put money aside to retire one day. That is ultimately the goal for most of us, if not all of us.
Yeah, I want to let you know that Debbie Rodriguez has joined us, and she just made a comment, Tina, that for those out there that don't know Tina, that you are such a great asset to have on your team and a great community partner and leader. Debbie is our guest on Friday night. So thanks for joining us, Debbie. And yeah, thanks for giving Tina those kudos.
Thanks, Debbie. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we've been talking the past couple of nights about being women out here, professional women trying to juggle it all. And you certainly fit that bill. You have 2 young boys, one who is sick. So sorry to hear about him being under the weather. But you're working, you're out there, you volunteer all over the place. You're always on the front line taking care of people. You chair a very big committee for I Build Central Florida, which unfortunately has been canceled. So how do you make it all work?
Lots of to-do lists, and I think it's just the passion to make it happen, Angela. It just happens, right? So you make your to-do lists and you manage your time appropriately, and you just make it happen. I don't know.
We do, right?
Exactly. My family is first. They're my why. So thank you. Ryan's having a tough week, and
yeah,
a little Tylenol and ice cream, and he's good for the next 30 minutes. But I definitely enjoy the opportunity to serve. So thank you. And I think that I'm not doing anything different than what you guys are doing. So you're out there, you're a part of industry and leading, and you're visible, and together we all make it work together.
So I'm sorry. So Addis brought up a point saying that there's a huge benefit in financial education, and how important it is right now and sort of coming to light right now with everything that's going on, having that emergency fund. I think Angela and I have talked, Addis, and we want to do one of these on financial education. And you're absolutely right. For businesses and employees, I talked last night about how successful nonprofits have a reserve or funding, and those funds are set aside just for emergencies like this so that they can continue to function. And so it's a good thing for all of us to know, and for even small companies to understand what would happen in crisis. So we're considering that being a topic. And then Vanessa's question, Tina, is when are you coming back to NAWIC?
Well, I'm glad that iBuild of Central Florida changed the board meetings. So that's no longer a 15-hour day.
Right.
So I have it on my calendar, Vanessa, I promise you.
Tina, do you want to share with everybody your email address? Although we're going to have on the call to action website notes and resources that Tina has provided as well as notes from all of our calls so that we can share some of those best ideas and Tina's contact information. But Tina, if you would like to share it, I know some folks have asked for that.
Wonderful. So my email address is tcraft, C-R-A-F-T, at F as in Frank, B as in boy, P as in Peter, L as in Larry, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam.com. So tcraft at fbplans.com.
Wonderful. Well, we really appreciate you spending some time with us, especially with the sick baby at home. We're all out here just trying to stay in the flow and keep our motivation high and our attitudes positive. And you are always a shining light. Jacqueline and I are trying to be shining lights out there. There's a lot of darkness, so we really appreciate you joining us and taking the time with us today and sharing your expertise. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks for the invitation, and anything that you need, I'm here to help.
Thanks, Tina. And we invite everybody to join us tomorrow night at the same time when Vanessa Pearce, president of NAWIC, and she has over 300 agents reporting to her, as well as having kids and a husband in the industry. So we're going to talk to her about how she's balancing all of that and what her workforce is looking like. And then Friday night, just confirmed, we have Debbie Rodriguez joining us, who has her own company. She has a pulse on what's happening in the commercial industry, as well as president and founder of iBuild. Angela, wrap us up.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. We got some good nights ahead, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do next week, because we kind of like this everyday thing. We're finding some good content and getting it out there to you. So thank you guys for showing up. Share with your friends, like our page, tell everyone. Tell
Robert Downey Jr. Will somebody please tell Robert Downey Jr.?
We need him to come and sit with us. That would be awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. We love you.
Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Angela.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.